Hello, everyone. Now, in this section, we are going to write more test cases related to that project which we are working on. So in last section, you remember we covered like we tried to do login manually as well as we tried to do login using data providers. That's called data-driven testing. And now we'll write more, we'll use some more test cases like the next test case will be like I'll like to search for I'll search for uh course in this web page. So here I'll go here once I have logged in. So as usual, first we'll log in and then we'll try to search for a course in this website. Now here is, I'll just pass some codes like HTML for beginner and then click the search button and you get the codes which we search for. So this is the first test case that we are going to put after the login. The reason behind this we are doing more test cases is you will get an idea that how all these test cases are connected to each other, and when new test cases comes, how we arrange this in frameworks form. So the process is similar to the way you have done before, just you have to follow how to bring all the test cases at one place. Now, so just to go for this test case, we have to locate this element. We have to locate the element. That means we have to locate the input box. So right click, go to inspect, and then locate that particular element. Now here in this pages section, I'll create a class and name that class as search page. Now for this section, I have already written my code. So I'll just copy and put that code and I'll explain you. And the logic part, I'll write it for you. So now first we create the constructor as usual, the way we used to do for basically the way we used to do for every pages. So we have done that in constructor. We have passed this page factory as well as the init method. And here, basically we are using the page object model to locate the elements. So first I try to locate the input box. So just have taken the locator from there. That's, you see, name is equals to search codes. So I've taken that locator for input box. And after that, the next thing what I've done is after putting the code's name there, we need to click on this search icon. So I inspect this search icon as usual. When I'm into that section, I take the copy path, copy the X path, and then we use that. So I'm using that here. Now I have both the elements here. Now I'll create one method with the name as search course. So I created a method with this name as search course. And here in this search codes, now the code's name that we are going to use here, that name will also come from the Excel sheet. So remember in login, we use the username and password from the Excel sheet. Here also we'll see how we'll get the details from the Excel sheet. Now, apart from that, first I'll use this search input element to send values. So basically that's the one, it's search input. Let me copy and put it here. And from here, I'll call the send keys method. And to this method, I'll define a variable and that I'll pass it here. So this course name will bring it from the Excel sheet and that value will pass it here, and we'll see how we'll do that. So next one is search button. So I'll copy that and I'll click on the search button just to see this changes happening. Now, once this search codes is done, okay, now we'll go to the test case. So this is like we have located that particular page. Now in test case, as usual, we'll create a class and name that class as search test case class. So here we'll search the elements. So for this section, again, the codes here are similar. Now what you have to focus is when you are trying to do search, the first thing is you have to first go to the login process. Once you are into the login, that means first you have to log in, then you have to come to this source section. Basically, that's the process. So already we have a test case, or basically we have a page for login, and we have written code for that. So here we're going to create a new method and name this method as void search course test. And inside this method, first thing we'll write for login. Now here, because we are not trying to, basically if you see here, we are not trying to do that data provider thing. So we are not using that logic which we have written for data provider. Instead, straight away we pass the file name, and just we take that particular element or the username and password from there and use it accordingly. Now for this section, just to take these file names, I have to define the file. And one thing that I have to do is I have to extend the base class. Extend the base test. Cool. So now the driver values will come from here. So straight away I have passed the file name. Now the file name is test portal data. So I have replaced the file, the Excel file that I was using before, that is test info, to test portal data, because here I have added few more data. If you see in this Excel sheet, in search codes, I have passed a value HTML for beginner. So basically this is the value that I'll search for. And next section, I'll do the card details. So there also you will need this thing. Basically, you will need this Excel file. So just you have to add two more columns, one column for search courses, another column for card details. So you will add two more sheets to the Excel sheet, and then we'll read those sheets from there the way we have done it before. So here straight away, I'm trying to read. Basically, I'm trying to get the values based on the column names and the rows and columns name. So the values, I'll easily fetch it from there. Now, once I'm logged in, what's my next step? My next step is I have to call the method here in search page. So as usual, I'll create the object of this search page. So I take the object here. Again, I'll pass the driver value as well for the constructor. Now, using this method, I'll call the search code method. But the thing is that this search course method needs the value, the course name, that we have to pass it from here. So just to pass this course name, now what I'm going to do here is, just like we have read the data from the Excel sheet, the same way I'm going to read the data for this search course, and I'll pass that data here. So here I'll try to parse data for search codes. And here I'll give the file name. What's the file name here? It's search codes. The file name is search codes. So just from login data, I'll change the file name to search codes. So that's the file name. Yeah. And the rows and columns will be 0, 0, because you have one value here. Right now, I have just one value, but when you are trying to search codes, you'll have multiple of values. So just you need to know the column number, and that particular column number, you pass it here, and you will get the value in that column. And in fact, you have multiple search codes, then you can put it inside the for loop and take all the values from there and run all the courses one by one. So that's basically the logical part, and you have to think about it. So now the code is ready. The value is here. We'll run this test case and see how it's working. Now you remember in this TestNG.xml, already I have defined the name of the class along with the package. That's the login test driven data. Now, because I am going to test the search test case, so what I'm going to do here is, I'll not do much. I'll just copy this, paste it here. Along with this package name, I'll pass this class name, and then I'll read this class. And for the timing, I'll comment the last one, the login test driven data. I'll comment that just to save time. So that one is comment, and straight away I'll run it from XML file. That's the beauty about this XML file, that straight away run the class from here, which you have created. You don't need to go to that class, and you can keep changing the classes and see what's happening. Now something went wrong here. Let me see what's that. What's the reason behind why this one is not working? Yeah, it's everything is fine. Just a small changes here is I have not added the annotation test, and neither I set the priorities, but not needed priority here, but still I'll set it. So just I forgot this in flow of code, so that's why I was not able to run this test case. But now done. Get back to the XML file, run it from here, right click, go to run as, and run this. Just a second, I'll share that section as well. At least you can see the changes happening. So let me run this again. And here I run this code again. So now the website opens, and once you are logged in, after that you come here in search course, you will look for that value HTML for beginners. You see that, and that particular course is searched. That means the test case passed without any problem. So that's how we are adding the test case. So basically when we are writing the next test case, what our focus is that already we have code for login. So just we pick it from there, and straight away just we are getting the values from there and adding our own test case. Okay, or either you can keep this one in separate test case, like you can keep this one for login, and search test case you can keep it here. So you can keep doing that way. It's like you can create separate classes, or you can add in the same class. That's your choice. So basically you can go that way. So just write it and just add it to your classes. That's completely your choice. So this is how we search a particular courses in this website. So now next we'll see in next section, we'll see how to subscribe to a particular course and how to go to the payment section. So basically that's the most interesting part of this complete project is the payment section. There you will find things happening, a lot of things happening, and that will help you a lot because the similar process, the same thing you will get in different websites as well. So let's see that in another section. Welcome back. In this section, we are going to see how to write test case for the dashboard, that where we'll go to a particular course. From there, we'll go to the subscribe option and try to do the payment. So let's understand the process manually, and then we'll go to the main part of code and follow this section seriously, because this is the most important part of the complete project where most of you get stuck while doing the testing process here. So let's come back here and understand the process. So first thing is, as usual, we do login. So for login, I enter the username. Again, I'll enter the password. That the process we have already done. Now, once you're logged in, then you need to click on this dashboard button here. So when you click on this dashboard button, you are in the dashboard page. Now you have more test cases to test where you can go and search the dashboard text and all, so that you can do it later. Now here, once you are into the dashboard page, click on Offer Academics. And when you click on Offer Academics, you find different courses here. So just pick any one courses, like I pick this, click on the subscribe button. Now this is the process what I'm showing you manually, and the same thing we'll do through automation. After that, click on this Pay with Stripe. So when you click on this Pay with Stripe checkbox, so basically this particular checkbox is selected. And then when you click on Place Order, so you come to the payment section. So after click on this checkbox, Pay with Stripe, a radio button, then click on Place Order. Now here, when you come to this order section, here the email comes by default. But this section, the card details, in this section, you will find the problem is that straight away, if you go and pass the values here, it will not take. Remember that. If you straight away, if you pass these values, it will not take. What you have to do here is, though you inspect that, you will get the locators and everything available, but still it will not take the value straight away. And the small reason behind this is why it's not taking the value straight away is that this section is basically embedded, or this section is basically created inside iframe. And if you remember, I've talked about the frames in my videos in Selenium tutorials. If you have not watched, you can go into the Selenium tutorial section, and there you can watch this iframe videos. So basically, this complete design is inside iframe section. And when you are into iframe section, remember, you need to switch to that iframe section, and then one by one you can pass values for card as well as month and CVC. So here you'll see in our code that how we are moving to that frame section. And if you talk about frame, you see iframe is mentioned here. This is the iframe. And the frame starts here, and you'll see the starting point of the frame somewhere here. So basically the complete code is inside the frame, and you have to do nothing. Just you have to locate that frame, take the locator value of that frame, and just use it accordingly. Cool. Now that's the thing. And once that's done, again, you have to get back to your screen and start and just click the Pay Now button. Now, whatever I've talked about, we'll see how we'll do this code when we are into writing codes here. Now, let's get back to Eclipse and let's start writing code for this. So first, let's start for the dashboard page. So I create a class and name that class as dashboard page. I click that dashboard page. Now, again, as usual, I have written the code for the constructor part, basically, and the elements. So it's quite simple. Till now, I'm quite sure everyone knows about how to use these, how to get these elements and all. Everyone is familiar with that section. So you can easily go and locate the element. I've shown you manually what I'm doing. So just go to those elements, take the locator values, and use it accordingly. Now, the rest part is already explained, so I'm not spending time there. Okay, so first one is for dashboard, that I'll click on dashboard. Second one is when I click on the offer academics. And the third one is I click the subscribe button. So because here all three are clicks, so this will be easy for you to understand. I'll create just a method here, dashboard, click. And in this method, we have to do nothing. Just one by one, we have to click on every sections, and we are in the dashboard click section. Same way for offer academics. So for subscribe buttons as well. Now let's create a test case for this page. So I'll create a test case as usual. Now, if you find this process, if you're focusing, and if you focus on all my videos, you'll see it's not a big deal to work with these frameworks. Just you have to keep that focus, that on this section you have to do what. And the process, if you see, all are similar. Just you are creating the pages, you're writing the test cases. So it's quite similar. It's nothing new here. Just you have to understand how to write all of those and nothing else. And rest, I find it very simple. Now, again, I have to change the file name here. So I'll take the file name, basically the XML, I'm taking this Excel file name. I'm just changing the Excel file name. Why do I change the Excel file name? But I don't think we need the Excel file name here because we are just performing clicks. So if this is not used, it's fine. Yeah, but we need the Excel file name for, sorry, I need the Excel file name for that login data for the username and password. So that's needed for that section, not for the dashboard section. So creating the object of dashboard page is quite common, the way we have done before. And here I have to define just the driver, so I do that. No, I'll not define it here. Instead, because this is a test case, so I'll extend the base class. Cool. Now, using this method, I'll just call, now these are just imports that I'm doing. And using this method, I'll just call the dashboard click method. Get back to my XML file here. So once you are familiar with these steps, you'll find it very easy. I'll comment this one. So I comment this one and move to the next section that is here, and just change the class name here from search test case to dashboard test case. Done. Save, run, and see what's happening. So again, as usual, we are into the login page. Yeah, now we are logged in. After login, we click on the search text, search button on topmost right corner. From there, we click on Offer Academics, and from there, the subscribe button. So now once you click this subscribe button, then we have to go to the next section where we click on the radio button and then that pay button. So now I'll create a new class for that page, that is payment page. And again, I have the locators ready for those sections. Now the locators for those sections are going to be interesting because you have one for that iframe as well, if you remember what I was talking about. And here also we'll try to read all the values from the Excel sheet. That means the card details, the CVV, everything, you will get it from there. Now here you see what I've done. First one for pay strip. Second locator is for to place order. The third one is for the frame section. What I mentioned before, that is for the complete frame. The frame that we are using, it's for the complete frame. So that's for that section. So one locator is for the section where the frame part is available. So in that frame, we'll locate that frame section as well, just to get just to pass that frame to our code. So that's why we'll locate that frame section as well. I'm talking about this iframe, this one. So cool. So you'll take the locators. We are taking the locators for that as well. Just I'll show you how to take the locator for the complete frame. Now this is my frame section, is it? So I'll just do right click and I'll click on this button. So basically this takes the complete frame code. So I'll just do right click here. Now this was my focus, like how to take that frame. Go to copy XPath and take the locator of iframe. Once this is here, you have the card. Now, once you are into the frame section, then you are allowed to use card number. Then you are allowed to use this next one, expiry date, and the next one is CVV, and then payment, pay now button. Now we'll write method for this, and this method will tell you what exactly this frame does here, or you say how to handle these frame problems when it come across the project. And here in this method, the first thing, by using this paste strip, click on the radio button. Next thing is place order. That's the order button, this one. We'll copy this. We'll again perform click for this. Okay. Now, after this comes the frame one. So here I have to ask the driver to switch to dot frame. Now, when we come to this frame, we have three options: index, either a name, or using frame elements. So this time we'll go for this frame elements because we are trying to frame the element, and I'll pass that frame element name. And once this is done, now after this, you are allowed to pass values to every section, like card num dot send keys. So I'll send the values here, and I'll say the value as card number, and I'll define this card number inside the method. Next one will be for date dot send keys, and in this I'll send the expiry date, and the last one is for CVC, where I'll send the details for the CVC. So here I'll define four sections, that where I'll say string, first one for card number. So basically I'm going to take these values from test cases. Next one is exp, so it's for where you take the expiry dates, and the third one is CVC, where you take the CVC code. Cool. So all three values are CVC number. I'll do it. That's fine, because these CVC both are same names, so this will be confusing. Now, once these three values are passed here, after this is done, what next you have to do here is just to get back to that payment button, you have to ask driver to switch back to content, default content. That means now it was in the frame screen. Just to perform next task, it needs to get back to its original content. That means the main web page. And then we can click on this pay button. Let me close this section. It's open from long time. So now we can perform click on pay button. If we don't get back to default part, then in that case, you'll have problem. It's like in that case, you'll not be able to perform click on this pay button. So now the payment page is also ready. What we are going to do here is we are going to create a test case for this. Test case. And in this payment test case, as usual, we'll define all the classes and call the methods from there. So let's go for it. So here, as usual, we are going to copy the steps from the last one itself. No need to create a new one. It's like straight away copy from there and then pass the values accordingly. So for payment test case, again, the steps are quite common. Here we'll need these steps again. The same steps we'll need it here. And just we'll add one more step. That is, again, I'll extend the base test. Now, I have not arranged them in proper methods wise, like in different methods, and then call them, but you can put them inside different methods. That's like allowed, and you can do that. Basically, you have to do that way. I've written do in one just to make things easy for you, and just because of that. Now, once the dashboard is done, the next section is payment. So for payment page, I'll create object as usual, and I'll pass the driver here. Now once that's done, in payment page, first I have to read the values. Values from where? From the Excel sheet. That means in Excel sheet, you see in card details sections, you have these three details. So what you have to do here is, again, I'll do first one as card number, second one as exp date, and third one as number. And so here I'll change the value. First one will be 00, second one will be 01, and the third one will be 02. And here I'll give is equals to sign. And also I'll change the seat name from login data to card details. So this is the seat name, is it? Yeah, this is the seat name. So I'll copy this seat name from here. And paste it here. Now, while calling the method in payment page, I'll call the method here payment option, and here I'm going to pass these details. Now done. So this is how we write the test case, and this is how we read the data from there. So all is done. Now let's again get back to the XML file, and this time I'll define the class for the payment page as well. That is payment test case. So let me copy this class from here, and in this XML file, let's pass this. Save this, go to run as, run this, and let's see how it's functioning. So as usual, the login process works. After login, the dashboard, yeah, that's working. Now offer academics, that's also working. Now subscribe now, that's working. Pay with Stripe, pay now. There is small error that I see here. Why that is, I'll look into that and I'll let you know. Maybe there is small error in payment page, and the error is basically with that button, that is this button, the place order button. So let me look into that. What's that wrong with the place order? Now the error that here is, that's basically the error that everyone should focus on. It's like here in page now, once you are into the subscribe button, and when you click this place order button, when you do right click, you find this one as a input tag. And if it's an input tag, remember, if the tag is input, I've talked about this before as well, that if the tag is input, then in that case we don't use the click method, we use here the submit method. So that was a small mistake that I've done. I forgot while writing that it's a submit button. So because it's an input tag, so this will take the value in form of submit button. So now again, let's get back to that XML file, right click, Go to run as TestNG suite, and let's see. So as usual, we are into the login. After login to offer academics, good. After offer academics, now we have passed the details, payment done, test case passed, everything is done. So you see the payment section, it was a bit tricky, but easy to do once you are familiar with all the steps happening there. So these are the different test cases that we need to come across when we are doing basically a framework scene. So it's like that's why I've written multiple test case so that when you write the next test case, you have idea to how to proceed and how to perform all the test cases from one place. So that's just we'll talk about the different stuffs in the another section. Till then, stay tuned and bye bye.